All right, guys. ICP is one of the few winners this week on the markets, up 22%. It is coming off the lows. I did say that it was the bottom around 318 in my last video. I didn't realize what a great call it was, but I was looking at the technology stack and I'm looking at what they have going on with Caffeine AI, and I was comparing it with Replit and Lovable, and basically it is undervalued immensely. And I'm going to go through some stuff. Not only is it undervalued, it is a revolutionary technology with a revolutionary app and platform that it can leverage. So for it to go up, finally getting some, narrative change actually started happening right after my video. So make sure not only to like and subscribe, I'm going to put some more information on this particular channel and also my other channel. So I'm going to kind of mix it up. So please like and subscribe here, but share this video so more people can know that internet computer and what it's truly about is revolutionary tech, and it can be valued. I'm going to give you guys some valuations so we understand what's going on. It's holding on pretty well, but I think we have a long way to go. I think this is just a start. I wasn't even that. It's up 22%. And if you look at the greater market, which is actually very interesting, great market is having a really hard time. Bitcoin is about 106,000. So for internet computer to be at a time where the market is having such a hard time tells you the bullish sentiment, how it is out there. Now, if you look to see what's pumping right now this week, internet computer is number 4. It was number 1 earlier, but Dash and Zcash, of course, hub together in a way. So you can kind of see where it is. And I think a pump like Dash and Decred and Zcash, it's on its way. We will get our Zcash moment. It is a matter of time. The technology that internet computer has is a revolution. It is next level. So I'm going to show you guys what I've also found, information that I had in my last video. A lot of people hit me up and said it made them change their minds. They were bearish on ICP. They were about to sell. They're about to move on. And the information I gave them changed their minds. So make sure, this is a very important video, that you share this video with people that you know. This is a project that is immensely undervalued. And not only is it immensely undervalued, the technology is going to change the world and it's going to change lives. So I'm going to show you more information on this, okay? So one of the things is like, why do you think it's going to do that, Dow King? Why do you think it's going to do that? Because it's the only one that can deploy its own token. It's the only one that has Web3 authentication when you compare it to Replit, which is the other app maker, okay? I'm going to show you why Replit is so important and why not only is Caffeine AI better than it, but it's revolutionary tech. And Replit and no one else, no one else can duplicate it. Nobody else can duplicate this, and no one else will be able to duplicate this potentially for years. It could give Caffeine AI and ICP an advantage for years in technology. Do you know how rare that is? Basically with Replit, you're going to have to get an audit and all this stuff. You're not going to be able to even load your own contracts or smart contracts or any of that stuff. This does it by itself, loads it, and you don't have to get an audit. I mean, it's groundbreaking, okay? So what's getting me excited? Replit, $3 billion valuation, raised 200. So what's getting me excited is all of this stuff, basically, when you look like wallet integration, token deployment, Web3 authentication. No one else can do this. Only one that can do this is ICP. That's it. It is years ahead of everyone else. Then when we go over and we look at the valuation of Replit, guess what? Replit's valuation recently on September 25th, which is very recent, just 2 months ago, was at $3 billion, okay? It closed the funding round, and you can see the funding round right here, okay? And there were some big players in there. Amex was in there, some big players. Y Combinator was in there. You had A16Z, who's big, is in there. You had all these guys in there. Don't you think they're going to start looking and saying, what is this Caffeine AI real soon? What doors will that start opening? Who's going to start purchasing ICP? Where is that demand going to come from? Where are we going to go price-wise when all this happens? We're going to get into all that. Like I said, this is an important video. Now, let's also look at where Lovable is. Lovable had a $1.8 billion valuation recently, and then it said in July, funding round in July reportedly comes in at $4 billion. I mean, these valuations are exploding in real time, month to month. They're going literally 2 billion, 4 billion, 6 billion. It's going to go up. Remember what I said in my last video? It's going to go to 20 and $30 billion. And we're going to go through how this is happening, okay? Because the same thing can and likely will happen to Caffeine AI, which is owned partly by Dom, who has his own entity that owns it. I don't know if Dfinity owns it or how all that works, but I'm sure Dfinity has some stake in it. Caffeine AI can make hundreds of millions of dollars. The second it starts making its first $100 million, the doors are going to swing right open. There's going to be so many investors coming into ICP, into its ecosystem, partnerships. It's going to be absolutely a boost that we've never seen. The Zcash moment will be upon us because everybody and their mother will want ICP and then understand the full potential and full power of ICP. It has not been understood yet, okay? So then we're looking at this just 8 months after launch. 8 months, keep in mind, 8 months after launch, Lovable got to 1.8 billion, and now it's like 12 months after launch, it's at 4 billion. Do you understand how fast these things are moving? They're moving fast. And the whole entire valuation of ICP is $2.1 billion right now. And ICP, the token, does a lot more than any of these things do, number one. And then basically what ends up happening is when you start to buy, you're going to have to buy like credits, and you have to going to buy Caffeine AI that gets converted and burned into ICP. So basically what could potentially happen is an amplification of the price of ICP. I don't think the price of ICP is going to be like, it reflect exactly what Caffeine AI is worth. Let's say Caffeine AI is worth $10 billion, which is a 5x from here, puts it at $20. Do I think that's going to be the price of the ICP token? No, absolutely not. There will be an amplification because there always is in crypto. I would say if that's the case, you're probably going to 60 or 70 or $80 because it's always amplified. There's a number of reasons it gets amplified. First of all, half of all ICP tokens are staked. You can't even sell them. So there's going to be the amplification from just the people that are staked, number one. Okay. Number two, what you're also going to see happening is the burning mechanisms are going to kick into overdrive, and people are going to come into the ecosystem. And that there's not enough liquidity for a small token like ICP to handle. So you get this overdrive movement. And that's what's potentially could happen. That is actually what has happened in a way to Zcash. And that is why Zcash has gone from $40 or $50 to $422 so quickly. That is why these things were happening, including Dash now, same thing. Once the liquidity injection and the narrative changes, it becomes powerful. It runs away, and it runs away quickly. So I want you guys to understand these things. All right. So I'm going to show you guys one more thing here. Alex from Blockchain Pill actually found this, which was very interesting. He's saying how Dfinity 2.0, we're going to basically talking about how they're going to do things faster. They're going to achieve far greater emphasis on user experience and productionization. This is, I think you're seeing internet computer evolve from like we're a research laboratory to now we're going to make money. We're going to take this into overdrive. And Dom is saying the same thing. Internet computer 2.0, Dfinity 2.0, Caffeine AI, the internet compute review. So he's taking it up to the next level. This is what is needed. Now, I'm going to show you some other stuff here. This was really interesting to me. This person built, I built a fully functional, 100% secure, hack-proof Zcash wallet using Caffeine AI, built with ICP fully on-chain. Should I dev this more? And I went to the guy's website. At the website, you go to the website. It looks great, and it's usable. Now, what's very interesting about this is what starts to happen when people start developing stuff with ICP, with Cafe AI when it's launched, not fully launched yet. They start making their tokens. They start making their apps. They start deploying this on hundreds of chains. Okay. And what I said was, imagine thousands of apps made on Caffeine AI for all the top chains. You think ICP will be still sitting at $4? Absolutely no. Absolutely fucking no. It's not even possible. It's going to erupt. Caffeine AI needs to launch when they're ready, hopefully soon, hopefully within the next month. And what you're going to see is an absolute eruption and number of apps that are going to be created on Caffeine AI. This is a revolution that's taking place in real time. I have a ton of apps on it myself I want to build. I have games on it I want to build. I have casinos and different things it out yet because the functionality is in there. The second it goes, I'm going to start marketing them. Okay. And they're chain agnostic. I'm going to be, integrating with Phantom and MetaMask and all the different wallets. People can be able to use them in these games and all these things. They used to take dev teams. I will become my own dev. And I'm also going to be giving 50% of the revenues to Caffeine Doctor, which is launching in 2 days, November 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So if you haven't liked or subscribed Caffeine Doctor, please do. I'll put the links down here. We're going to give, and then we're also going to do marketing for Caffeine Doctor. Anybody who wants marketing, and once we build up the Caffeine Doctor ecosystem, anyone who builds on Caffeine AI, we will help market. And then we'll take a percentage of your revenues and we will buy and burn Caffeine Doctor. So there's great ideas that are coming out. And just because I launched Caffeine Doctor, I'm trying to launch it and get through bonding on Pump Fund. I've learned so much. And this is why a lot of people are like, hey, why do you launch this stuff? Why do you do these things? A lot of times they're like, oh, it fails. And I'm like, because I learned from it each time. And failure isn't something that should ever hold you back. My first 2 or 3 internet companies were failure. My third or fourth one was not. And I did over 20 years, about almost $1 billion in revenues. Put that into perspective. You can keep failing, you keep learning, and you keep adding on to your knowledge base. And one of those ideas can take off. And to me, this is what it is. Okay. You got to keep trying. And by me trying and getting Caffeine Doctor out there, I learned so much about this whole thing. That's why I was able to figure out what was going on. I had to do this research for hours on end because I was like, I don't understand. Why shouldn't I just use Replit or Lovable? Can I do that? And I went to all the systems and I played around with them all, and I realized, oh, it's a dead end. Lovable and Replit don't do those things. That is why it's important to be creative, and that is why it's important when you're doing your research to just go out there all the way, start something and try to make something, create something. Because once you go into that creative mode, you actually make the discoveries. And this is the discovery I made. And now that narrative is taking off. I'm just so happy that everyone is seeing it. And ICP price, I don't believe to be honest with you, it's insane, because basically out of these 5-6 tokens that have gone up, everything else has been in the gutter, guys. I mean, Bitcoin is down. Look at that, 105,000. 106,000. Ethereum, Bitcoin. I mean, the numbers are not good, and there's reasons for it. If you guys want me to talk about Bitcoin, let me know. But a lot of this has to do with the TGA and the Fed rebuilding of their accounts and monetary policies. Those monetary policies are going to loosen up soon. It's going to help Bitcoin, it's going to help Ethereum, and it's definitely going to help ICP. Now, one thing I would like to see on ICP front is I would like to see ICP get to at least $6 or $7 in the next 30 to 45 days. And I think it's going to be very important that ICP gets as high as possible, because all the alts will move. They usually all move together, and they usually kind of move the same percentage. Okay. So what's important for us is to have ICP at a higher price, because it will move. It's holding like a champ. It really is. I think people are starting to awaken to it, and it doesn't care that the market is nuking, and it really shouldn't. It is incredible, has become an asymmetrical bet. What is an asymmetrical bet? It's a bet that the low point of ICP is, let's say, $2, but what is its upside? $200, $300. It's an asymmetrical bet. It is not even close. The upside is so much greater than the downside. Yes, you can still lose half your money, but you can also make millions of dollars, get Malibu dream house money. See, that's the difference. Anyway, guys, I hope that was helpful. I will give you more updates on this channel and my other channels, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.